In this presentation, I'm going to talk about climate change. Climate scientists agree that humanity is responsible for the vast majority of global warming. But what is climate change? Climate change is a significant variation of average weather conditions, say conditions becoming warmer, wetter, or drier over several decades or more. And while climate change and global warming are often used interchangeably, global warming, the recent rise in the global average temperature near the Earth's surface, is just one aspect of climate change. The main causes of climate change are humanity's increased use of fossil fuels, such as coal, oil, and gas to generate electricity, run cars, and other forms of transport, and power manufacturing and industry. Fossil fuels produce large quantities of carbon dioxide when burned. The second cause is deforestation, because living trees absorb and store carbon dioxide. And the third cause is increasingly intensive agriculture, which emits greenhouse gases like methane and nitrous oxide. But how are the greenhouse gases affecting the Earth? The greenhouse gas molecules in the atmosphere absorb light, preventing some of it from escaping the Earth. This heats up the atmosphere and raises the planet's average temperature. The buildup of greenhouse gases is causing alarmingly fast warming worldwide. Carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is now reaching levels 50% higher than before the Industrial Revolution. People are using up Earth's resources faster than ever, and by example of a so-called microworld, Easter Islands, they took down the forest on their island and used up most of the resources, and after that their magnificent society started to collapse. One aspect of climate change is sea level rise. By 2015, the average global temperature had warmed by over 1 degree Celsius since pre-industrial times. 16 of the 17 warmest years on record have been in the 21st century. This warming isn't the same everywhere. Some areas with crucial ecological importance, like around the poles, are warming at 2 or 3 times the global average. And if you take a look on the picture shown on the slide, you can see how much of the ice has already melted since the 1980s. Earth is now losing 1.2 trillion tons of ice each year, and 28 trillion tons of ice has melted in total. A rise in temperature above 1.5 degrees Celsius could lead to a significant rise in sea levels, potentially displacing tens of millions of people, especially in the Pacific. The ocean absorbs most of the excess heat from greenhouse gas emissions, leading to rising ocean temperatures, which affect marine species and ecosystems. Rising temperatures cause coral bleaching and the loss of breeding grounds for marine fishes and mammals. They also affect the benefits humans derive from the ocean, threatening food security, increasing the prevalence of diseases, and causing more extreme weather events and the loss of coastal protection. 200 million people in the world will live below the sea level line by 2100. An additional 160 million will be affected by higher annual flooding due to rising ocean levels. Extreme weather. Scientific studies indicate that extreme weather events are likely to become more frequent or more intense with human-induced climate change. Tropical cyclones are expected to increase in intensity, have increased rainfall, and have larger storm surges. These changes are driven by rising sea temperatures and increased maximum water vapor content of the atmosphere as the air heats up. Human activity is causing rapid changes to our global climate that are contributing to extreme weather conditions. For example, wildfires burn longer and wider, extreme heat gets hotter, drought conditions persist, warmer temperatures drive increases in precipitation, hurricanes are becoming more intense, sea level rise causes flooding, winter storms hit harder, and so on. Extinction of species. The 1 degree Celsius rise in global temperature is causing serious and often unexpected impacts on species, affecting their abundance, genetic composition, behavior, and survival. The hottest daily highs in summer are the key variable that explains whether a population will go extinct. Most species won't be able to escape to a cooler climate in order to avoid extinction. Many species are able to tolerate some increases in maximum temperatures, but only up to a certain point. Globally, up to 1 million species are at risk of extinction because of human activities. I wanted to concentrate more on a specific species, so I will briefly touch upon the topic of bees. Really important contributors to nature are bumblebees, and they are disappearing at rates consistent with mass extinction. Bee populations were hardest hit in warming southern regions such as Mexico because of more frequent extreme warm years, which exceeded the species' historical temperature ranges according to the study I researched. Bumblebees are the best pollinators in wild landscapes and the most effective pollinators for important crops such as tomatoes, squash, and berries. Results show that we face a future with many less bumblebees and much less diversity, both in the outdoors and on our plates. Now I have introduced the topic of climate change. And I'm going to end the presentation with the introduction of what is done in Tartu to help fight climate changes. Tartu is an active participator in different environmental projects. To promote people to choose a more eco-friendly transportation vehicle, they have created a system with 750 bikes that you can rent for a given time. Almost 5 million kilometers have been traveled on those bikes. Tartu also focuses on renovating older apartment complexes so that they would hold heat better and would need a lot less heating. Tartu tries to implement more and more green energy in their public transportation. More information can be found in their website tartu.ee. Thank you for listening.